Welcome back to the ABL review for Season 20 of the ABL, the North Division Week 2. Who was off this week? I believe Mike was off this week in the North. Got some much-needed rest, probably much-needed. He seems like he might be tired, I don't know. Yeah, let's hop into the games. As usual, we're going to start off with my game first. This is a matchup I was really scared of. Urshifu Rapid Strike is a very scary mon. Don't like having to face it. Quite a few of my Pokemon were designed specifically to figure out how to deal with it. So, interestingly, okay, I unfortunately do this all the time. Interestingly, my first draft of this team had, what's it called? A lone Sand Slash in this box. I'm like, oh yeah, that can spin and put up hazards, and that'll be a good thing to lead off versus Smeargle with. And then I just like forgot that I had Great Tusk that could do it. And I gotta say, credits to the creative sets on Curtis this week. They're like really good sets. I went for Earthquake there just to break the sash. Didn't really think anything of it when he switched out. I'm like, oh, I can get up hazards here because the worst thing I can go for is like Brave Bird or something. Maybe Will-O-Wisp, but I was actually Lumberry. Just in case this was like Spore on Smeargle. Yeah, goes for the Fire Spin here. I thankfully I had Rapid Spin just like I talked about, so I wasn't certain that would allow me to switch, but it was worth a shot, and it did work out. So really happy that I got lucky with this crit here. That was big. When it did my Assault Vest Rule Edge, that was kind of honestly a last minute thing, but I'm like, hey, it deals Sylveon a little bit better. And it also helps in this situation where I was able to chew up that Shadow Ball KO back with Bitter Blade, and Ceruledge is pretty much back to healthy. I did not expect this to be, this is Choice Scarf, I believe. Choice Scarf Smeargle with Transform. Very cool. I think that's really cool. Good set. Going to Overqwil, get off the Intimidate, so I don't have to take much damage. And then he's going to go into this. I'm just going to go for Crunch, try to deal as much damage stuff as I can. He's going to get a little bit of health back with his leftovers. And then, yeah, I knew what this thing's set is at this point, so I can go into something that can Volt Switch out. He has to get a triple Protect to be able to Perish Trap me. Good Terra there. I should have thought of that. That was kind of a stupid thing to go for. So smart move. And he doesn't manage, so then he gets the double protect, which puts me in a little bit of trouble, because if he gets the triple protect, then I'm down. But that does also mean he has to commit to the triple protect, knowing that he can't block the Volt Switch. Doesn't get the triple protect. I'm able to get my Raging Bolt out of there. And Skarmory, this was Skarmory's only job. If this thing was Adamant Banded, this is exactly how it went. If he was anything else, then Skarmory could actually take this on. Ended up doing exactly what it needed to do. Skarmory got a KO and just got hit 6 times. Didn't attack once. So yeah, overall I'm happy with how this went. It hasn't been like my prep has been different than the teams I've ended up facing. So just kind of surprised to see how that all went, but overall I'm happy with my performance. I think Curtis brought up some really creative sets. The Burning Bulwark and Transform on Smeargle I think is really awesome. Unfortunately that meant he had no like hazard control abilities. I think that's something he probably has to look out for. But overall, really happy with this game. Good game, Curtis. And we'll move on to our next match, which is Logan taking on Jabron. Jabron bringing a real bulky looking team like he likes to do, like this is bulky balance sort of thing. And Logan bringing, I don't know, it looks like such a weird team, but I really do think it's actually put together pretty well. So I talked to Logan after the match. So he goes for this knockoff here. He said he was tempted just to like, because we see him Terra Dark later. It's like, I could Terra Dark and maybe just straight up take out Deoxys, but I don't want to burn a Terra that soon. Decides not to Terra, and actually this works out way better for him because he gets knocked off, and now he's freed up. This Deoxys is on low health, and this Morpico's done what it needed to do at this point, and now it can switch up moves. So he now tears dark and goes for the aura wheel, picks up the KO. Now he's just going to stay in hangry mode. He doesn't switch after that. Ice Fang does a really good amount of damage to this Garchomp. This Morpeko gets really lucky, dodges the Stone Edge. This Morpeko, he's gotten way more mileage out of it than he should have. So he goes for the knockoff here. No real reason to do that. I guess like if he went into Florges, he'd get rid of the item, but I guess that's the reason you do that. But catch the Ogerpon here. He went for Wild Charge. That was a bad play because Aura Wheel would have KO'd this Ogerpon and you still would have had Morpeko around to kind of just wreak havoc against the rest of this team. But at this point, he's in such a good spot. Hazards are up. Wellspring's dead because of the rocks. I probably would have saved Wellspring so that way, because you still switch into Florges and nothing else changes. Now you have Wellspring in the back as like a free switch later. Maybe you can even defog with Corviknight at some point. I've seen a lot of people throw away Pokemon for no reason in this week's battles. Something to look out for. But that Power Whip ends up KOing. Looked at the calcs after the battle. The chances of that are, it's definitely a roll in Jabron's, I think it's actually, no, it's a roll in Logan's favor for Florges to live that, assuming it's max HP and no defense, because that's the only way it could have KO'd. So it's definitely a roll, but also this Florges doesn't do anything back. It doesn't really have any moves it can go for. Like, it goes for Moonblast, it does like 20-30% to this Ogerpon. So that roll didn't matter. The fact that he hit mattered, but overall, I think that this was a losing position for Jabron. Corviknight's going to come in. It's going to get 2-hit KO'd by the Ivy Cudgel. Must not have Brave Bird, I guess. He's, yeah, taken out by the Ivy Cudgel. Arcanine's going to come in. Now it's in range for him to be able to pick it off with extreme speed. But Mudsdale cannot be KO'd by the combination of these two Pokemon, especially at the range it's at. Crit didn't matter for sure. And Garchomp's not going to be able to do any reasonable damage to this Mudsdale. It's going to get taken out with the Earthquake. So really strong showing from Logan here. Morpeko putting in way more work than I think anybody would have expected. And a couple of mistakes by Jabron really opened it up. Logan coming away with his first win of the season after taking last week off for the bye. Starting off really strong with this big win over Jabron. After that, we're going to move on to Zach and the New York Aqua Jets versus... I didn't do notes this time. This is Drew, right? Drew in the Chicago Cub Chews? That's right? Hang on. Zane in the Chicago Cub Chews. My bad. I'm going to learn this one time. So Zach coming in with a really strong looking team. This team looks pretty similar from Zane to what he used last week. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? He was in a winning position last week and just barely missed out. Going out with the Blood Moon, getting 40% on a resisted hit from Heatran. Follows it up with a Hyper Voice. Smart, probably expecting the Landorus Therian there. Knockoff comes out. The Assault Vest is gone. Gets off good damage with that Blood Moon from Ursaluna. Couple of weird things here. Since this was a smart play, I really liked that. I thought that was smart. Unfortunately, gets frozen here. That's rough. This is the second freeze we've seen this week. Goes water type to try to be able to take this also promotes this Suicune to try to go for Scald or some shit. So isn't that fun? And then draws in this Rillaboom, and now funny thing is too, it can't go for Grassy Glide still because of Queenly Majesty. But I like all that. Assuming Quillfish is here, I think he's gonna try to get up Toxic Spikes. Yeah, good move. Just kind of force in that Sneasler early potentially. I think that's a smart move. Because Sneasler comes in to soak those up, then it probably burns its Grassy Seed if it's not time. Also, I thought Petal Blizzard was kind of crazy. Didn't realize it was 90 base power. So smart bring by Zach there. Just something I'd never considered. I've always considered just either Power Whip or Trop Kick with Serena. So happy to see that. He's able to defog away those hazards very good. Like that a lot. So seeing special Landorus here, kind of a big surprise, but it's really effective here in this matchup. Just gonna keep firing off those grassy grass knots, able to KO the Suicune Walking Fake. Good name. The special lander is putting in a lot of work here. Shiftry's gonna come in. This is an amazing play by Zane here. Honestly, puts him in such a good spot. Going for the Endeavor, getting this Pokemon low. And there's still plenty of turns of grassy terrain. Zach does his best with the switching back and forth on the Intimidates, but Zane just defiant in the face of these dual Intimidate mons. Just keeps setting up Swords Dances, ends up at a +3. Close combat, able to KO this thing. That's wild. At this point, Zach doesn't have anything that can revenge kill this, so he's just going to keep switching on the Intimidates and hope he gets in a position where he can live a hit, and he's not able to. He's just going to get this Sneasler's going to end up getting 5 KOs on him. Well done, Zane, identifying the opportunities for him to sweep here. Just really good, really impressive, and I don't know what else to say. Sneasler's a very scary mon. Not looking forward to having to face it in a few weeks. I know that we had banned the Dire Claw thing, but maybe Sneasler might end up showing us that it's too much of a threat, especially when paired with Rillaboom. Maybe we need to make one or both of them more expensive next season. We'll see. But it's time to move on to our marquee match of the week. Oh, hold on, guys. I'll get this, I swear. Playing? Play, please.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
Man, I got that first try in the last video. It didn't work out this time. So we've got Brett taking on, this one's Drew. So Drew coming off a loss, Brett coming off a loss, but both of them trying to find their feet here. So I haven't rewatched taking notes on this yet, so we're gonna kind of go through it a little bit slower since I definitely rushed through the other ones. So, obviously, Brett coming into the Thundurus here, very smart, resists anything that the Kilowattrel can go for. He's able to get out off a slow pivot and get the matchup. Crocalor comes in, not going to care if this Gouging Fire sets up. Very smart. He's going to go for the Yawn here, 4 switches. I believe this Quillfish is going to... Yeah, and then goes into the Hatterene to prevent Toxic Spike from going up. Also very smart. But, like, right now... Drew is in a really smart position where he's just kind of scouting stuff out, and he's got a lot of switch initiative on this team to be able to get the matchups he wants. Awesome play by Brett, by the way. I kind of glossed over it. He knew he lived that bullet punch 100% guaranteed. He wouldn't have stayed in otherwise. Brett's very good about that. So able to KO Scizor with Mystical Fire. That's big. Gets the priority out of the way. So Colossal's going to come here. Brett's really trying to make sure the hazards don't go up. That's why he went into the Hatterene there. And this is where the whole battle changes, right? So Brett, I think, smartly predicted a potential Will-O-Wisp here. I think that was smart. So he went he turned to Fire type and tried to set up a Dragon Dance. I think that's a smart play. That's kind of what I expected to happen. Ghost coming out isn't super expected, but hey, now you're not 4x weak to ground, right? And he goes for Stealth Rock. Very smart to set up Stealth Rock. Brett no longer has any way to keep hazards off and also get rid of hazards. So that's big. That means if this Flygon tries to come back again, it's taking quarter damage. That Thundurus, I don't think we've seen if it is heavy duty boots, but it might take quarter damage. Crocalor definitely will take quarter damage. So really strong position for him there. And also now, not weak to the Earthquake. Look how little that did. And he's weak to the Rock Blast. Found out later this is loaded dice. Does he get all 5 hits here? Yeah, gets 5 hits, KOs the Flygon. Brett's in a rough spot from here. He's got to go for the knockoff, but he's going to get intimidated. And this Meowscarada is now going to have to take these Stealth Rocks every time he switches. Brett still has ways out, but he needs to get a little bit lucky. The Endure here is a really smart play. I'm curious from Zane, like my understanding is Zane's still a bit of a newer player, so I'm curious if he expected this Custat Berry to go off. Custat Berry, one of my favorite items, and goes for the Explosion. I thought maybe a burning bulwark was going to come out, or if he had expected the explosion, which I think he says he didn't expect it. I don't know if he expected Custap, though. I was kind of hoping it'd be pretty cool if he went Colossal to just entirely block that. But the Morning Sun comes out, so ends up trading what was essentially 25% health on his Gouging Fire for all of Metagross. Actually, no, I guess it's, what, 38%, because he also took the Flare Blitz recoil and all that. But overall, I'd say that's a good trade. Crocolore is going to come in. Not much he can do to this. He's just going to try to throw off a Yawn again, I think. Yeah. Crocolore is going to have a harder time staying healthy due to these rocks being up, and Brett doesn't have a way to clear them. Going to slack off there. Yawn, try to force this. He's just going to keep trying to force switches, and maybe he can find a matchup he needs. But these Rock Blasts aren't doing a lot of damage, but, 5 of them together do a lot of damage. I need to scroll down here, geez, so I can keep track of what's going on. The Colossal is going to go to sleep. Also really smart play here because now Sleep Clause is active. Nothing else can go to sleep. So the Crocolore, all it can go for now is Flamethrower. Probably his Will-O-Wisp. I'm not sure what his other move would be. And then Slack Off. So the Yawn is basically taken out of the equation. See Air Slash come out. Not really going to do much, but at this point, you just got to get the damage off. You see Azelf come out. Surprised it went for, I guess it was trying to catch a potential switch there. Thunder's really firing back, but I just don't think there's enough juice left here. If you got a flinch, something probably comes out of this. But Gouging Fire able to stay healthy enough. No Burning Bulwark. I think he would have gone for it there. But this Quillfish is able to intimidate the Meowscarada. Meowscarada can't switch to get rid of that. I think I would have liked to see Quillfish switch out and switch back in. Yeah. Keep intimidating this Meowscarada down, because we see it comes down to it. If he didn't intimidate again, then this battle changes, because we're going to see Gouging Fire come out. It's on low HP. Knock off. Would have KO'd had he not got that other Intimidate off. So very clutch move to late in the game preserve that Quillfish and get the last Intimidate off. Really close match. Really good match. Drew comes away with a win. Brett, I would hazard to guess, for the first time in ABL history, is at an 0-2 record. Pretty crazy to see him there. Yeah, if relegation, if the season ended today, Brett and Jabron end up going down to the South, which, 2 seasons ago, I don't think anybody would have guessed that would be possible. But that's the position that we're in right now. Looking to see what's going to happen going forward. I didn't talk about ad drops just because in this or the South. It's because there really weren't many. Mostly it was some Terra Captain changes. So sorry I'm not going into that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Looking forward to games next week. Sorry these came out late, but we'll see you next week. Goodbye.